The following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98 FM's
Dublin Talks.
Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Thursday morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. It is everything and anything to do with this city. And by the way, if you want to get in contact with us with anything going on in your world that you'd like us to highlight on the programme, you can send us an email to Dublin Talks, all one word, at 98fm.com. Dublin Talks at 98fm.com. You can also send us a private message through our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. So, what's coming up on today's programme? Christmas is cancelled. Well, no, not really. But the official city centre switching on of the lights is cancelled this year. We're going to be finding out why. Is this not a traditional thing in Dublin and now it's not happening? We'll find out why in a couple of minutes. I'll be talking to the Lord Mayor. Also, Dubs are takeaway mad, and now McDonald's have become the latest company to announce that they are offering a takeaway service. Or sorry, a delivery service, should I say. Isn't that great? Probably doesn't apply to me, though. At 10:45, the Taoiseach Leo Varadkar has told healthcare workers that they will have to work full whack over Christmas, or at least they should. And now the workers are looking for an apology. They say he's blaming them for the crisis in the healthcare system. Also, a little bit later on, are you in a relationship, married, maybe married, or you're living together or whatever? Do you have a joint bank account? Well, is it a good idea to have a joint bank account, or do you need your independence? We'll talk about that later on. All that and much more between now and midday today. And live from Dublin City Centre, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. One of the big events to mark the beginning of the Christmas season has traditionally in Dublin been the switching on of the Christmas lights. It is an event that has always attracted big crowds to come along and have some important person on a stage announce that the lights are being switched on in 3, 2, 1, boom. But no, not this year, I'm afraid. Because the official switching on ceremony for this year's Dublin Christmas lights has been cancelled after a bit of a disastrous event last year. And I'd like to know how you feel about this. You can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98, because I was interested to read a city that I visit quite a lot is the capital of the south, down in Cork. The countdown to Christmas truly begins with the switching on of the Cork City Christmas lights. This year, the switch on will take place on Sunday, the 18th of November at St. Patrick's Street, and celebrations will run from 6:30 until 7:30. The switch on of the Christmas lights will start the city's seasonal celebrations, and large crowds are expected at this wonderful and very popular event. How do you feel about this? Now, as I said, we used to have a wonderful and very popular event here in Dublin, the annual switching on of the lights. I was at many of them myself, but this year, no. We're not having one. I'm joined by the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Councillor Neil Ring. Neil, welcome to 98 FM. How are you?
I'm not too bad at all, Adrian. You're sounding very negative there now.
I am a little bit, yeah.
Morning.
I am a little bit. How can they do it in Cork and we can't do it in Dublin?
Now, in all fairness, Adrian, never ever compare us with Cork. We're the capital city. Come on now, at this time in the morning. Now, don't be putting me in bad humour. I was in great humour. You started off your show really all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and suddenly you went into this negative just because Dublin City Council and myself have come up with a fabulous new initiative for Christmas.
OK, we'll find out about the fabulous new initiative in a second, Neil. But firstly, tell me, why is there no official switching on ceremony this year for the Christmas lights?
Well, there are about 20 official switching on ceremonies all around the city for Christmas lights. We're not doing one in the city centre because what we're doing is we're doing 12 different iconic buildings and structures around the city, and we're going to have a lighting show or a lighting programme that's going to be as good, actually not as good, much, much better than what we've had in the past. You did it there yourself. You said 3, 2, 1, the lights go on, let's all go home. What's going to happen now is we're going to have these 12 structures and buildings, 3 bridges, 9 buildings, all lit up. People will be coming in specifically to see each of those buildings. It's like you're going to have 12 trips into town rather than the one. It's going to bring a huge number of people. It'll be more family friendly because, like, with crowds in town, kids can't see. I remember going to them years ago, and you saw the lights going on, and that was it. Then years ago, obviously, and I'm as much a traditionalist as anyone else, I used to love going into Cleary's in to see Santa and all that. We used to have Switzer's window and Cleary's window. That's all gone. Unfortunately, things change, and they're changes I don't like. But this is a change that I think is absolutely brilliant.
One of the reasons that there is no official switching on ceremony this year is because of the disaster that happened last year. What happened last year?
No, I think what happened last year, and I'm not one to dwell on the past. I prefer to look forward. Yeah, there was a huge crowd, and I think people were caught out by the amount of people, and that's why I believe there's a huge appetite for people to come into town and get that enchanting, magical feeling of Christmas around Dublin, and that's why with 12 different locations, we're going to have a much, much better.
But sorry, Neil, just to go back to last year for 1 second. Last year was a disaster. Too many people turned up. Isn't that a sign, though, that a switching on ceremony is something that people like?
No, what it's a sign of, Adrian, is that people love coming in and getting the brilliant atmosphere that's around Dublin at Christmas. And because of that, there's now going to be 12 different locations you can come in and have that exact magical, enchanting experience. An experience of just... And around the city, like in my own area, Stony Batters, Sean McDermott Street, Sheriff Street, we're going to have trees. There's going to be lighting ceremonies for trees. So people will get that community level. But then
it's not the same thing as a big event, though, Neil.
No,
I mean, well, put it this way, I'm about to go to a caller who thinks it's awful that it's not happening. Used to love going to the switching on of the lights every year.
So do I, and I loved it as well. But as I said, we're going to have a much better experience. And it's going to reconnect people with all those buildings around town. I do agree that the plan this year is a great plan, and this is where a number of buildings in the city, including City Hall and Liberty Hall and the civic offices and the Mansion House and the Custom House, are all going to be lit up brilliantly and look really well for Christmas. That's all really, really good. But the mere fact that too many people turned up last year, to me, symbolises that it is an event that people like to have in Dublin every year, the switching on of the lights, and we're not going to have it this year. And we're not going to have it. We're going to have Adrian. Adrian, you're turning into a little bit of a Christmas Grinch now. We're going to have much better. I'm telling you, as Lord Mayor, and I'm telling the people of Dublin, they will be delighted. And as Gay Byrne, I met him yesterday at the Beatles thing, they'd be delighted and excited when they see what we're doing. And I hope we'll come back after Christmas. And I know you'll be man enough to come back after Christmas and say, this was brilliant, this was better.
I've already said I think the plan for lighting up the buildings, I think it's great. But I do believe that, they can do it in every other city. How can we not do it in Dublin?
I don't know if they do it in every other city. I think everyone's moving towards when people see what we're doing in Dublin. I guarantee this is the future of Christmas. This is where you're going to have the replacement for. As I said years ago, it was brilliant going into town and looking at going into the lights, going into Switzer's, looking at the window, going in to see Santa in Cleary's. Unfortunately, some things have changed. Well, we've all got older, so I'm not allowed to go in and see Santa anymore. But what we have, I'm telling you, Adrian, and we can dwell. It's not going to happen, so we have to accept that. But what is happening, the replacement is absolutely incredible. And I'm telling you, I've seen this previews of this, and this is really going to blow everyone's mind. It's going to put the city in a really magical Christmassy place.
And I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to the display of the buildings and all of that. And it all sounds great. I'm not denying all that, and I know the lights are going to look great. But as I said, and I have to come back to this again, Neil, the fact of the matter is that the annual switching on ceremonies, and I know there on previous years, like you'd have one on Grafton Street and one on Henry Street, and I was at many of them on O'Connell Street and whatever. The fact is that people like having a switch on ceremony, and is it because we just can't organise it properly?
No, I think we're well able to organise things. You look at this. Look at the.
But last year was a disaster.
But look at what we do organise. The marathon, for example, the Great Dublin Bike Ride, 7,000 people out on their bikes. The marathon, 20,000 people. I have no problem with us able to organise things, but we can't be jumping on, something happened last year, that's why we did it. This is being done as a new initiative.
But sorry, Neil, again, this is happening this year or not happening this year because of last year's disaster.
No. You can. This has been planned for a long time, and it wasn't that. There was a bit of overcrowding last year. Let's change everything. There's no way this program is just as a result of that. This new program is a very expensive program, but it's absolutely brilliant, and it's something that's been planned for a long time.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. I'm talking with the Lord Mayor, Neil Ring, about the fact that, yes, there's going to be great displays in Dublin for Christmas. There's obviously still going to be lights, but there won't be an official switching on ceremony. Caroline, you're very disappointed by this. Why?
I am. I just want to tell you, Adrian, I must have been listening to Mr. Ring, the Lord Mayor, and he's talking a load of rubbish. One, if he says he can organise the city, because I only live around the corner from Marion Square, and if he says he can organise the city for the runners, the people who are running for charity, and it is done and was done, and the clean-up was great, that's another subject, I suppose. I can't understand why they can't organise the same thing for the Christmas tree going up. And as well, have it on the Sunday like Cork. I know he doesn't like mentioning Cork, but believe it or not, I'm going to go down Cork now and see it. I'm not going to...
as it actually happens, I will be in Cork on the 18th of November and probably will go along to the...
And you might be asked to switch on the lights with one of our famous stars, Adrian.
Nobody knows me down in Cork, but anyway, go on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We look forward to and as my children look forward to see the stars, to listen to the carols singing, to get into the atmosphere. He's going to take an awful lot of revenue out of our city because of that. Because all the people that come up, they go do their shopping, they do the lights, the Christmas lights.
Okay, but here's the issue, Caroline. Last year's event was too many people turned up, and fortunately, we're not talking about a situation where somebody was injured or, God forbid, squashed. We would be having a very different conversation if that had happened, and I assume, for health and safety reasons, it was decided not to hold an event like that, a mass event this year.
I actually think the Lord Mayor and the City Council are all Scrooges. I'm 70 years of age and I adore Christmas. Christmas to me is a joyful time of the year for all families to get together, to help people who haven't got families and bring them into your heart and that. But as well as that, my grandchildren now won't be able to see it, and they saw it last year. So why take it away from the children who love it? And us as adults are a bit childish as well, but we like it as well.
Sorry, the Lord Mayor is still on the line here. Neil, I have to be honest with you. We are being flooded with calls, inundated with calls from people saying, I can't believe this.
Well, they won't believe what they actually won't believe. And Caroline's like myself. Caroline, you sound like one of our own. I love Christmas. I adore Christmas. I get all excited. It brings me back to my childhood. And I wouldn't, as Lord Mayor, do anything in this city that would diminish the Christmas experience for anyone. What I want to do this year is enhance it. And I think, and don't go down to Cork. Don't go down with Adrian now down to Cork on the 18th of November, Caroline. I want you. But she
doesn't have a ceremony to go to in Dublin.
She will have a ceremony. She can come around. I will bring Caroline into the mansion house. We'll have a nice cup of tea, and when the official lighting of the mansion house is on, I'll have Caroline in prime spot. And if she tells me she would have preferred to be down O'Connell Street with a big crowd and being crushed and everything or whatever, I'll say, well, fair play, that I'll accept that. But I can guarantee to Caroline that she will love what she's going to see, and it'll make her even more proud. She sounds like she's a proud Dub. It'll make her more proud of Dublin.
They are, Caroline. There's an invite from the Lord Mayor.
House. Keep away from Cork, Caroline.
That's not nice now. We have to be nice to the Cork people. And we can't do stuff like that.
Of course we have,
yeah,
Caroline.
of course we have. I mean, say, I put them on par with the Welsh people because they have beautiful voices. So,
all right, but look, I'll put you in touch with the Lord Mayor, and you can have this love in all by yourselves.
We'll have afternoon tea, and we'll go out and we'll watch the lights going on, Caroline, and we'll have a lovely afternoon. Guaranteed that.
All right, there you go.
And Adrian, thank you so much.
No
You're a lovely person on the radio.
Thanks very much indeed, Caroline. Lord Mayor, I'm going to let you go, but thank you very much indeed for talking to us. And like I said, we are being contacted by many, many people, very disappointed that there won't be a focal ceremony for the switching on of the lights this year.
Well, as I said, Adrian, let's see what happens afterwards. And if you keep giving out about the Lord Mayor now, I'm going to write to Sandy and tell him not to bring you what you want.
Lord Mayor, Councillor Neil Ring, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Let me go to Eddie. You're on 98 FM, Eddie. How are you?
Morning, Adrian. You well?
Good morning, Eddie. How are you?
Just explain it in layman's terms to a simpleton like me, right? Does he plan on people making 12 different trips into the city each time to see a few lights put on?
Well, there's 12 different buildings and bridges are going to be
over different days.
Yes, yeah.
So he expects people, the public of Dublin, to go out of their way to come into town to see lights on a certain building 12 different times. He offers no.
Okay, how important is it? Look, and I mentioned the Cork ceremony only because I'm curious to know how we can't organise it in Dublin, yet in Cork, and by the way, there were tens of thousands of people in Cork as well. They can do it in New York. They can do it everywhere. But we can't do it.
I'll tell you why, Adrian. Because they couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. It'd be a disaster if no one turned up. The fact that people are turning out in their droves shows it's a success. You know what I mean? So they should know, and they should get the right police and the right crowd control, the right traffic restrictions. They should get that all in place. They've got 12 months every year. There's no excuse, you know. Cork can do it, the second city. Why can't we do it? And his idea of, we'll bring different people into the city. I tell you now, if you're a retailer, right, and you're in town and they're switching all the lights on, I bet you that's one of your busiest periods. You know what I mean? People coming in. People aren't going to make 12 different trips in just to see lights come on, say, one day on the GPO and go, oh, that was deadly, I'll have to come in tomorrow to see Liberty Hall. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Well, okay, stay there for 1 second because I'm joined by another Dublin City Councillor, Councillor Mannix Flynn. Mannix, you actually support the cancelling of a switching on of the light ceremony?
Well, certainly under the health and safety and the fact that they couldn't manage it last year, you can't bring vast amounts of people into the city when you've no proper security, no event management, and you couldn't repeat what happened last year in and around the city. I mean, it was frightening for a lot of families who basically were trapped in huge crowds. No emergency vehicles could get in, and there was simply no emergency plan. It was the mercy of God that no one was seriously injured. So,
okay, with all that in mind, Mannix,
unless they organised the event on a proper basis and plan it out as an event management issue, in the meantime, I'd say no, let's not have this.
Okay, do me a favour, Councillor Mannix Flynn, stay on the line there for 1 second because I have to take a very quick break. But unbelievable reaction to this. People not happy that there is not going to be an official start of Christmas ceremony. We're back in just a moment.
98 FM's Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors, delivering your new mattress in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.
Another question people are asking is why are our Christmas lights this year actually being called winter lights? Why did we get rid of the word Christmas? Why aren't they Christmas lights? Try and find out the answer to that in a second. Let me read a message that's just come in, and this is with regard to last year's event in the city, which was a bit of a disaster. My wife and girls were in town last year and have said that they wouldn't be going in this year because it was too dangerous. My daughter is 10 and has said no way would she go. Well, she's nothing to go to because there isn't an event. Back to Mannix Flynn for 1 second. Mannix, you were saying that we were very lucky that nobody was seriously injured last year. Why are we not able to organise an event?
Well, again, that's the $1 million question. I mean, they had a year to organise this. They had a year to look at what happened last year. I mean, last year people had to run into shops to find refuge. I mean, it was literally a nightmare, and a nightmare for children, and that would stick in their memories. And they quite rightly, all of them don't want to come back into town. However, Dublin City Council have and are going to light up a series of buildings with a whole, a lighting festival and a whole artwork over the period. But nonetheless, I mean, I concur with the public. The public need an event. They would like an event.
As I said to the Lord Mayor a couple of minutes ago, the mere fact that so many people turned out last year is a sign that that's what people want.
Yeah, absolutely, that's what people want. The same as they want the fun fair out in the RDS, and they want the crib, in the Mansion House. This was a disaster last year. What's even worse again, though, Adrian, was the fact that Dublin City Council and the event management team and the business community didn't bother putting together a robust plan whereby they could have created this, lighting event, this ceremony, and brought the people into the city safely. I mean, they did it during the Pope's visit. They did it during the presidential elections. They did it, but they do it constantly. But somewhere along the line, Dublin City Council and its officials and the business community and the likes of the BIDS organisation took their eye off the ball here. I mean, this is a significant event for children. It's a significant event for the season that's in it. And we know up to last year it was a fairly joyous event, but it was obvious from a couple of years previously that this was getting huge, it was getting out of control, and it needed proper management. But you can't go...
But that's what I was about to say. It's not like, when you say out of control in the amount of people that were turning up for it.
No, out of control in the fact that they didn't organise it. That's yes.
Going
up all the time, but they didn't organise it. So when it became obvious that Garda Síochána had to move into the likes of Grafton Street to control the whole situation, I mean, they were running on empty. They were literally running around trying to actually keep people calm to get them out of the areas. I mean, had a panic happened and had people have pushed each other, you would have ended up like one of those kind of soccer disasters where you have people squashed in a tunnel. You would have ended up like in a mecca situation.
And I'm aware that was what happened last year. And I know loads of people said it was a disaster, blah, 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 blah. But I would have thought that you'd learn from that and actually put on an event this year where it is properly managed.
Well, I mean, that's the point of the matter. I mean, I asked last year for a full, report on this, and I was expecting a full report. I was also expecting this year a full plan to be laid out, but lo and behold, there was no plan. So at the last moment, they decided to cancel it. They don't really give us a reason. The reason was last year's event, that it was a catastrophe. But the real reason why they actually are cancelling it this year is because they never actually organised it. That's the reason why, and I think that is absolutely
well. I can tell you as a city councillor, Mannix, I can tell you the reaction that we are getting from people today is one of horror. They can't believe that the capital city of Ireland is incapable of organising a switch-on event.
Absolutely, I agree with them, and I think it's absolutely outrageous. You pay your taxes, you pay your rates. You know what I mean? You walk in and you buy your goods in the shop. And Dublin City Council, and the other organisation didn't even bother to apologise. Didn't even bother to tell people at the outset, because remember, quite a lot of families would have been organising their children around this event. They would have said, okay, we're taking you to Dublin for the lights, we're bringing you into the city centre for the lights, it's going to be a great day, blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, it's cancelled. And it's cancelled not because of last year, which was disastrous anyway. It's cancelled because they didn't bother to organise it. Now that's
disgraceful. Yeah, that is absolutely disgraceful.
That is contempt for the people. And as I say, at the end of the day, it's a bit like pulling the present from somebody. So I think that Dublin City Council should actually issue a proper statement here, issue an apology to the people, and organise some measure of something that's going to actually start the season of the Christmas season and give something back to the people who basically put up with this kind of nonsense.
Just as a side issue, Mannix, you might know the answer to this, and lots of people have been in touch with us. Why is it called Winter Lights Dublin City instead of Christmas Lights Dublin City?
Well, again, because this comes in, pre the Christmas season, and then it lasts until January. So again, they're trying to kind of have this, I suppose, competition with other cities within Europe who have these winter lights, festivals. So it attracts overseas visitors. So the Christmas light thing, again, is something that they want to kind of, I suppose, push to the background and then create this kind of,
there's a lot of people saying this is American political correctness gone mad.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no question. It's not only that, it's laziness. It's not even any that. You could say, if you could say that, fine. You would have a reason. But they're not giving us a reason. They're giving us nothing other than to say that they're cancelling it, but they're not giving us a reason. So I think with all the money that's going into these lights, with the amount of people who pay into these lights, the amount of business who pay the extra levy to the bid company, with the rates and all of that, and you're turning around and you're cancelling the event, why put up the lights in the first place? And why are they not switched on now? You go into the streets now, Henry Street, all those streets, they're almost in darkness. So if they're going to put the lights up, if they're not going to have an opening of the lights or an event of the lights, well, then just switch them on and let's get on with the business so we can bring our children into the city and say, look at the magical lights, look at the magical windows. This is fantastic.
All right, well, as I said, despite last year's disastrous event, I think the public want an event and they're not going to get one this year. But anyway, Councillor Mannix Flynn, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
And again, I apologise on behalf of the City Council. I apologise to the people out there that this didn't happen, and I'll certainly be seeking answers. I will put in emergency motions into Dublin City Council demanding answers from the City Manager, Mr. Owen Keegan.
All right, Mannix Flynn, thanks very much indeed. Peter, what do you make of that? Have people reason to be annoyed?
Yeah, absolutely, Adrian. I think it's a bit this whole winter, whatever they're calling it now, it just seems like a bit like American bullshit, to be honest. Excuse my language.
Yeah, and I you kind of get the sense that within a couple of years we're going to be calling it the holiday season.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, sorry, I only seen the shop window there the other day, something like Happy Holidays and all this, just kind of a bit mad. But my point is like, who the hell wants to go up to Stony Bar to watch the lights and shows and that, when we want to be in the city centre, in the heart of it, you know what I mean? And my point, another point I have there is that we're well able to organise St. Patrick's Day festival, right? And have everything set up, the city closed off and whatnot, and streets prepared for the massive influx of the hundreds of thousands of people that come into it. But yeah, we can't do it at Christmas. St. Patrick's Day is on the same time every single year as is Christmas. So why can't they just organise another event that's like that? I just think it's Mannix Flynn hit the nail on the head there, by the way. It's pure out and out laziness on behalf of the Dublin City Council to not do something like this.
Well, like I said,
and Neil Ring as well, he should have it, just take it, lift his head up again and realise what people want and not what they want.
Well, as I said, if switching on of the lights is something that you like, large crowds are expected for the switch on of the Christmas lights in Cork on Sunday week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Adrian, if I thought my kids would be able to sit in the car for that length of time, I might actually take a spin to Cork. Yeah,
as it happens, I'm actually going to be in Cork that weekend.
I reckon they're going to do an amazing job. You know what I mean? Because they seem to be catching up on Dublin, because we've spent way too much time trying to be like New York.
Yep. All right. Thanks very much indeed, Peter. The switch on in Cork Sunday week the 18th at St. Patrick's Street, 6:30 to 7:30. If you want to go to one of those switch on ceremonies, you won't be getting it in Dublin. It's a disgrace, Adrian says this message. I used to bring my kids into town for the turning on of the lights and do our Christmas shopping. Again, the government win and the public lose out. It's a joke. Well, this isn't really anything to do with the government, to be honest. It's to do with the city council. Adrian, the Finglas Halloween event hosts nearly 10,000 people. It was very well supervised. It's been running years now, and as far as I'm aware, there is never any issues. That is just run by volunteers from the community. Another one saying, lads, for God's sake, wake up. It's nothing to do with crowd issues. It's not to offend the non-Irish. And that's why the winter lights are coming on instead of the Christmas lights, says Claire. And let me see, we've one more message here that I wanted to read out. Hi, Adrian. I've been bringing my daughter to turn on the lights every year at St. Stephen's Green. Last year was the worst I've seen. I remember the first year going, it was great. The stage where the entertainment was on was pushed right back to in front of the park, so there was a lot more space. Last year, the stage was pushed forward and everyone got squashed. The point being, we're not having an event this year, a switching on of the lights event this year, because, as somebody said earlier on, it would appear our city council couldn't organise a piss-up in a brewery. We should be able to host an event with thousands of people attending. Anyway, thanks very much indeed for all of your calls on that. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and we're here until midday today. I have a question for you. How many times a week do you order a takeaway, and what do you get delivered? The reason I mention this is you will now be able to get your favourite McDonald's items delivered to your front door. The McDonald's McDelievery service is launching in Dublin, Galway and Cork. The service, in partnership with Uber Eats, will be available to anyone within 1.5 miles of a participating Irish McDonald's restaurant, and is available from today. You can order your McDelievery. And people are going mad over this on social media. I can't get over this. Like, whoop-de-doo. Now, it would appear that many other cities around the world already have McDelievery. We're kind of a bit late to the party here. But the McDelievery service promises to deliver favourite menu items at the click of an app. And will be available here in Dublin, will be available from the following branches. Now, it's not all branches, actually. Why is that? I'd love to know why that is, actually. It'll be available from the following branches: Upper and Lower O'Connell Street, Mary Street, Temple Bar, East Wall Road, Rathmines, which is reopening in next week, Phibsborough, and the Navan Road. Oh, that's all, though. Not Swords, not Bray, not anywhere else. But okay, there you go. They're the branches that you will be able to get your McDonald's delivered from. But what I'd like to find out from you is, do you get food delivered to your house? And if so, what do you get? I want to find out what the most popular delivery to get to your front door, and would you order McDonald's? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Will you, what do you get delivered to your house, fast food wise? Because we all, and how often? Do you get a delivery once a week? Do you get a delivery twice a week? Maybe you get a delivery every day. Call or, text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. And if I can ask you to please stop ringing about the Christmas lights, because we're not going to take any more calls on that. Quick break, we're back in a second.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
With Des Kelly Interiors. New carpets fitted in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.
We're delivery mad here in Ireland, apparently. According to what we were reading yesterday, McDonald's have finally announced that as of today, you can get a McDonald's delivered to your gaff. McDelievery. Now, it does happen in many other countries in the world already, but it's happening now here in Ireland from the branches at Upper and Lower O'Connell Street, Mary Street, Temple Bar, East Wall Road, Rathmines, which is reopening again next week, Phibsborough and the Navan Road. Now, that leaves loads out. There's none in Blanche, and there's none in Swords, and there's none out Dunleary way. But anyway, maybe they'll eventually do that. Shannon, you're delighted.
Yeah, I'm chuffed, Adrian.
Why, are you a McDonald's fan?
I love McDonald's and I don't drive, so...
Oh, right, okay. So if you want to McDonald's, you have to make, like, a plan.
Yeah, to go or get a lift or go out for something.
And
Go into town.
Whereabouts do you live?
I live in Finglas, so I don't know if they deliver to me. Maybe the Navan Road one would.
Maybe. Well, it says within 1.5 miles of participating restaurants.
Yeah.
I think the Navan Road is more than 1.5 miles away. I hate to tell you.
We'll try.
Now, there is a McDonald's in Finglas, but obviously they're not on the list yet anyway. So maybe they will eventually. So I hate to burst your bubble, Shannon.
I'll have to get me lift.
You're going to have to make plans again. So what McDonald's would you normally go to?
Probably town.
Into town
doing a bit of shopping now.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, you have me hungry now. And do you ever order stuff to your house?
Yeah, I do. I order curries a lot.
What do you have in your curries?
The usual chicken balls, chips. Right, curry sauce.
Okay, I'm starving now. Thanks, Shannon. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Now, Gavin, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Gavin?
Very good, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thanks, Gavin. Oh my God. You order a chipper 3 times a week.
I'd order 3 times a week if say I went out to the pub on the Saturday. So then the Sunday I'd be eating something, Monday, Tuesday I'd order something. But if I didn't go drinking, I'd only order, say, once a week.
Right, once a week if you're not drinking, but if you're on the drink, then you'll order three chippers.
That's the dream going out the window for the week.
And is that just because you're a lazy git, or is it because you fancy chipper food when you've been drinking?
Oh, it's just, you know when you have a few, having a hangover, like, there's nothing better than a nice chipper.
Yeah.
But now at McDonald's they're doing deliveries. I'm looking forward to that now down my way.
And where do you live?
I live at Liffey Valley there, Clark.
No, you're not on the list.
I'll say soon enough to you.
Yeah, you're not on the list anyway so far. The closest one to you at Liffey Valley is the Navan Road.
I wouldn't even mind, so it's only a 2-minute drive, and anyway, I don't mind drive shoes.
Oh, you don't mind? All right, okay.
It's not too bad.
Okay, so chipper 3 times a week.
If I was on the beer, yeah.
If you're on the beer, right. Jeez, that's some amount of chipper. And Louise, this is odd. You order a chipper every second Sunday.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, I do.
You see, I don't know about you, but chipper on a Sunday doesn't sit well with me. I don't know why.
No, it's just my son does be working on it every second Sunday, so I don't bother cooking, and that's what we do. We get chipper.
Because you couldn't be arsed?
Yeah.
Fair enough. No, I get that. But would you not go out for something to eat?
No, because he's not home until about 8, half 8, so no, we don't bother. We just get chipper. We're just lazy.
Right, okay, fair enough. So a chipper every second Sunday. I don't think I've ever had a chipper on a Sunday, I have to be honest.
You have to try it. It's nice. Something different.
Right, okay, a chipper on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Thanks.
I don't eat McDonald's. You're always hungry after a half an hour at McDonald's, so I wouldn't be bothered with that.
Oh, okay, right, fair enough. Thanks, Louise. Food delivery service Just Eat revealed Ireland's most prominent food ordering habits so far for 2018. And apparently, when it comes to getting deliveries to your house, there's been a significant rise in demand for ethnic cuisines, no less. Alongside a continued increase in orders of healthy choices, vegetarian meals and gluten-free options, Chinese food remains the most popular order overall, while demand for Greek food has increased 5 times. Greek food? Who orders Greek food? Just Eat has also seen a surge in demand for ethnic flavours, with orders of Lebanese food growing by 113%. Nepalese food growing by... What is Nepalese food? That's grown by 75%. And general Asian food by 52%. And the increase in Japanese food being ordered is 51%. Who is ordering all this? I thought we only ordered chippers and Chinese. Takeaway chicken proved extremely popular, experiencing a massive 14-fold rise, while classic Italian food also experienced an upsurge. So there was me thinking it was only chippers, Chinese and pizzas, actually, that we got delivered to our door, but apparently not. Now, Bobby, you're saying that we had McDelievery in Ireland before.
Absolutely, in Mallow and Cork. My son works down, he lives down in Cork now, but before he was actually unemployed and he got a bit of part-time work in McDonald's, and they asked him if he got a car and would he mind doing deliveries, and they were delivering McDonald's for the last 6 or 7 years in Mallow and Cork.
And are they still doing it?
Yeah.
All right, but that must be just down to the individual franchisee, I suppose, is it?
I don't know, but I mean, that's what when I heard you say, wow, McDonald's are starting delivering. There's nothing new about that.
All right, so they've been doing it in Mallow and Cork for a long time.
Absolutely, yeah.
I must find out about that. But I would imagine it's just probably down to the individual franchisee, because they're all franchised, all the branches, aren't they?
And he was saying, I mean, but so the only thing with McDonald's is, I mean, it's cold when you get it in the shop. The moment of delivery, so I can imagine when you get delivered, I'd say it's bleeding freezing.
But they probably send it out very hot, I would imagine.
I'd tell you, I'd say it'd be cold, definitely.
Right. And has he ever tried it?
What do you mean?
Would he know?
Well, he
How
says,
cold it is.
He says, by the time you get to the house or find the house, he says, of course it's going to be cold.
Right. Okay.
Especially
Thanks,
down in
Bobby.
Mallow. I mean, I don't know if it's down in Mallow.
Apparently
and all that,
it's a big deal here in Dublin, and everybody is going is delighted about the fact that McDonald's.
Well, guess what? Cork are first again.
There you go. First with the Christmas lights, and first with the McDonald's delivery. There you go.
Well, all the Corkonians call it the real capital,
Well, that's it. I'm moving down there. That's it.
Yeah, I think so. We'll all pack up.
All right. Good luck. Thanks very much, Bobby.
Bye.
You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and we're here until midday today. Now, next on the programme, if you work in the hospitality business, hotels, restaurants, bars, nightclubs, Christmas is just like any other time of the year. You can't turn around to your boss and say, right, that's it, I'm heading off on holidays for 2 weeks during your busiest time of the year. See you in January. Because I would have thought if you're in any one of those businesses, you probably wouldn't have your job very long if you wanted to announce that you're heading off. The same goes, does it not, for the health service. Christmas is also one of the busiest times of the year in our health service. It's the depths of winter. People are sick and frontline staff need to be manning the hospitals, not taking time off. Well, that is pretty much what our leader, the Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar, said yesterday, and he has been ripped apart over it. The question is, do you agree with his comments? Do you think workers working in our health service should be expected to pull out all the stops over the Christmas period and get the minimum time off? I want you to have a listen to some of the comments that the Taoiseach made yesterday when he was in Finland.
Every business, every industry, every service has a period of peak demand. If you're working in retail, it's the week running up to Christmas. If you're working in education, it's the first week or two of September. If you're in politics, it's budget week and the few weeks around the budget. If you're in tourism, it's the summer period and the bank holidays. And it makes sense, if you're running your service or your business well, to always make sure that you match peak demand with peak resources. So we know peak demand happens in our health service in the first 2 weeks in January. Therefore, it makes sense that the minimum number of staff should be on leave during that period. No bed should be closed because people are on leave. The emergency department and medical consultants should be there. The surgeons can take their holidays during that period because most of the operations get cancelled anyway. So it's a question of meeting peak demand with peak resources. And that's the norm across industry, the norm across services. It should be the norm in the health service as well. It shouldn't be a controversial comment to say that when we have peak demand, when patients need our staff most, they should be there. And that's what I'm saying. And that hasn't always been the case in the past. We also need to look at that whole period. What happens in early January is entirely predictable. We have a period between Christmas and New Year, about 12 days between the 22nd of December and the 3rd of January. 7 of those are weekends or bank holidays, and hospitals operate effectively on the skeleton staff. Radiology departments don't work at full throttle, laboratories don't work at full throttle. So patients come in, they don't get their tests, they don't get their diagnosis, they don't get their treatments. The numbers add up and up and up, and guess what happens in the first week in January? So what I'm saying is that needs to change this year. We need to have more activity in the hospitals during that period, during the holiday period. And of course staff would be paid for that. And of course they would get their annual leave entitlement. But you do need to match your resources with your demand.
Okay, there you go. That is what the Taoiseach Leo Varadkar had to say yesterday. He called for all hospital consultants, nurses and backup staff to work at full whack over the Christmas period. He said that the hospitals were effectively closed down for 7 out of 12 days during the period, with bank holidays and weekends from the 22nd of December until the 3rd of January. And he's basically saying this isn't good enough. This is the busiest time of the year. If you work in a bar, you're not going to have an awful lot of time off over Christmas. Of course, you'd have some time off, but unless you own the place, you probably won't have much time. Pauline, you're annoyed with our Taoiseach for his comments. Why?
I think Varadkar is a disgrace.
Why?
if he sorted out the health system, get rid of all these top-heavy managers in it, earning huge salaries, and put more staff on the front line. I mean, would he like not to have his Christmas holidays? I bet he wouldn't want to be away from his partner.
I think you could say that, Pauline, about anybody who works in any job who doesn't like to work over Christmas. But there are certain jobs that you have to work over Christmas, unfortunately.
Well, the fire brigade have to work over Christmas, obviously, and they're always on call. But I feel if they do have to work over Christmas, their pay should be substantially increased. And they do work hard all the year round. I mean, I have relatives that work in the health service, and I mean, I think it's very rich of Varadkar to say they should do it for the same pay. At least their pay should be increased substantially. That's what I feel. And I really despair with this government.
Okay, now nobody, not even the Taoiseach, is suggesting that nobody even gets one day off over Christmas. But what he is saying is that it is a time in the middle of winter when there is peak demand. And we know this every year. And I've seen the way hospitals, even already, long before Christmas, are stretched. I've seen a situation in the Mater Hospital only this week where elderly people are being thrown out of the hospital because they can't treat them there, and these people have nowhere to go. But anyway, the point being,
why do you think that is? I mean, why is the health service in such a shambles? 600 million euro is going to foreign aid every year in this country.
No, that's irrelevant as well.
It's not really.
That's an international obligation we have, Pauline.
Well, that's because of the European ruling, and no wonder England want to get out of this bloody European system. I don't blame them. The point
but
is...
okay, no, let me ask you. I mentioned if you're a barman, you're not going to have much time off over Christmas. You're going to be working an awful lot. And that's because there is demand over Christmas. There is demand in the health service over Christmas, yet 7 out of 12 days during the Christmas period, people are going to be off. Place is going to be shut down. Stay there for 1 second, Pauline. I'm going to take some more calls on this on 6797 981. Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98 FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And Trish is here with Thursday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Parents and children at a Dublin school affected by structural defects are protesting outside the school gates this morning. St. Luke's National School in Tyrrellstown remains closed 2 weeks after issues with the building were raised. 300 senior pupils were walked to a nearby Lacala school for class this morning, while around 300 junior students remain at home. Facebook has announced plans which could see it create an extra 5,000 jobs here. The company has acquired a long-term lease for a new campus in Ballsbridge. The 14-acre site is based at the former bank centre. At least 11 people have been injured after a mass shooting at a bar in the Californian city of Thousand Oak. It was packed with hundreds of people when the gunman attacked. Officials say he's dead inside the venue. And Dublin's Lord Mayor says Christmas will still come to the city this year, despite no official switch-on event for the Christmas lights. Last week, Dublin Town confirmed there will be no lighting ceremony over fears it would cause too much disruption. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Thursday morning, Thursday, November. What date is it? I kind of lose track in November because it's a month that just doesn't interest me at all. It's the 8th day of November. This is Adrian with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. We're in the middle of a conversation all to do with comments made over the last day or two by on Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, and they've gone down like a lead balloon, it has to be said. He called for all hospital consultants, nurses and backup staff to work at full whack over the Christmas period. Now, he's come under fire for the comments he made, warning hospital workers against taking leave over Christmas to avoid the worst ever trolley crisis. And it is already a trolley crisis. I was in the A&E department in the Mater on, what day is today? I was there on Tuesday. My God almighty. It was like something from a war zone, the amount of people on trolleys, old and young. And then that's not to mention the amount of people that were outside in the waiting area. It was absolutely rammed. And this was only on a Tuesday afternoon. Anyway, basically what the Taoiseach said is that the hospitals effectively closed down for 7 days out of 12 during the period between December 22nd and January 3rd, as the closed days either fall on a Saturday, a Sunday or a bank holiday. And the Taoiseach said, we need to make sure for the first time ever that during that period the radiology departments and labs are working at full whack, that consultants are not on holidays in the first week of the year, particularly those who work in the emergency departments. I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797981. I was talking with Pauline a moment ago, and somebody asked me to... Well, where's that comment gone? Oh, it's gone. Sorry. It's disappeared. Liz, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Liz?
I'm good, thanks, Adrian.
Liz, many people very annoyed at the comments made by the Taoiseach. They think that he is blaming them for the trolley crisis, which he says he's not doing. What's your opinion on all this?
I don't know. I mean, first, I just want to say I work in a hospital and I've a lot of nurse friends, and I know that the healthcare system is not a nice place to work. So I'm not in any way, taking his side over that side of things, but what he said is very rational. It makes a lot of sense. As someone who works in a hospital over that time of the year, it is so quiet, and there are people that are left for a week or 2 weeks without tests done because they can't get results anyway, and they can't see specialists because there's nobody there. And it doesn't make sense.
Say, obviously our hospitals have staff. Obviously there are healthcare workers that do work days over Christmas, but it is at a much reduced rate.
Yes, and there's certain departments like radiology that pretty much closed down. And it doesn't make sense. Like every other sector, particularly ones that work, like firemen, have to work, guards have to work Christmas. And the nurses generally, the staff, are normally very accommodating, and they do try to take turns in different years to give people time off. But there's also staff who aren't Irish nationals, who don't actually celebrate Christmas, who are quite happy to work those days as well. So it doesn't really make sense for the hospitals of all places, like he said, the emergency departments. They should not be on basic staff over Christmas, one of the busiest times of the year when people are particularly vulnerable, especially the old and the young. It doesn't make sense. The comments are rational and fair, I feel. I don't think he's being irrational or asking a lot of people that he knows work in a tough environment.
Like I said, the Taoiseach has been absolutely lashed out of it for the comments that he made. People are saying that he's blaming healthcare workers for the crisis in our health system.
He never says that, though. He never ever states that. People are just so fed up with the country, as am I. I've had a baby this year, and I don't particularly want him growing up in the system that we have, because I know it's not going to be a wonderful system to grow up in. But I think it's people's frustrations, and they're just firing at him. It has to start somewhere. We have to take steps to make things better. And like you say, there's already a trolley crisis. Why would we double or quadruple that at Christmas time, one of the busiest times of the year?
Okay, Pauline, at one of the busiest times of the year, with the way in which so many people are off over Christmas in the health system, it is making a bad situation worse.
I just want to make one comment first about this, the fire brigade. They have to work over Christmas. It was mentioned, the fire service. Yes, the fire service is not in a shambles. It's well efficiently run. It's very, very good.
Why would you ask a system that's in shambles to make it worse by taking more staff out?
Could I make my comment, please, without interruption?
Certainly.
The fire service is not in a shambles. The health system is in a shambles, and Varadkar's government has it that way. They're not putting money into the service. It's top heavy with managers, overpaid, with huge pensions, and the staff on the ground are at their wit's end. The point
You're not listening to me. I already said that I agree with that.
The point is, if he put 600 million or a few hundred million in,
what's that got to do with his comment?
It has bloody everything to do with it.
Okay, Pauline, let's just hang on, Pauline. Let me just focus on what Liz is saying here. What has all of that got to do with the comment that he made that out of 7 out of 12 days over Christmas are bank holidays or weekends, and people are off, and for 7 days out of 12 the hospitals are nearly closed down?
Exactly.
Is he not right to highlight that?
Well, how is this only coming up now? The hospital must be like that.
Can you
10
comment
years
on what
ago.
Adrian said? Can you just answer what he said? Forget about the shambles and all the rest. I agree with you on that completely. It is an absolute shambles, and I've said that I don't want my son to be raised in a country like this, but can you just focus on what he's commenting on? That there shouldn't be so many days that are unmanned over the Christmas period. Do you not think that that's fair? That particular comment, whether you like him or not.
Yeah, well, okay. What about if you go into a hospital?
You're not answering me. You're not answering me.
You're not answering, Pauline.
Would you let me answer the question?
Come on.
You go into a hospital on a weekend, on a Friday, you can't find a doctor or a consultant. It's always been that way. Consultants, what about the top management? Yes, it's like that year in and year out. So what's the difference with this holiday situation?
That's a ridiculous attitude to have. It's like that year in, year out. So let's have Christmas and we'll worry about it in the new year when 20 older patients have died because there was no consultant there to
well, then
deal
why
with
don't
them. That's a ridiculous attitude.
Why doesn't Varadkar put money into the health service to employ more staff?
That's a separate issue. That's a separate issue to what he's saying. You're not focusing on his point. This is specifically to do with Christmas hours and making sure that the hospitals are manned. That is what it's about. It's not about a bigger issue. We can't deal with everything at once.
Okay, stay there. Do me a favour. Let me cut across both of you because I want to bring in some more calls on this. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Thomas, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Thomas?
Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
Good, thanks. What did you want to say?
I agree with what Liz is saying. I mean, in this instance, the Taoiseach is 100% right. I work in the private sector in the building, and I mean, we get the 3 or 4 days off around Christmas, whatever it is, and that's fine. And I just don't like. Obviously, where the need is where we've got to put the what do you call it, the effort in, and it makes complete sense. And anyone who says it doesn't, I mean, obviously it's about unions and money and all this stuff. But if you're in the private sector, in the real world, you work, you know that's the way it is. No holidays in November, December. Fair enough. That's fine. That's fair. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it should be. And it should be like that in the health service where we most need it.
Yeah, I mean, the argument is, Pauline, I have to put this to you, that the argument is that people still get sick over Christmas. In fact, people are more likely to be sick over Christmas because it's the depths of winter. And we are faced with a situation where 7 out of 12 days over Christmas, the hospitals are staffed by a skeleton staff.
Yes, I still wasn't able to make my point. I kept being shouted down. Could I make the point?
Go on.
The point is, if Varadkar employed extra staff, other staff could be on holiday. Why doesn't he put money into the staffing system?
It's not like he ever said, I want to take the holidays away from people. They'd get days in lieu for the bank holidays and all of that.
I'm talking about, you see people leaving this country in droves, medics, nurses, everybody is leaving this country. They're sick and tired of the lies of this government. Varadkar is all full of platitudes and kind of, false concern for social issues. It's a joke. The point is, if the health service, which he is the head of this country, would put more money into it to employ more staff on the ground, other staff could have their holidays and everybody would be happy. But he's not doing it.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Brian, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Brian?
How's it going?
Good, thank you, Brian. What did you want to say?
Thank you. Sorry, excuse me there. My point is, a few weeks ago, Leo Varadkar was on the news basically saying the interest rates are high because there's not enough evictions. Then he's saying during the summer, problem in the education system because the teachers are getting so much time off and getting so much money. And now it's the nurses and the doctors.
Okay, all right. Let me just focus for a second, Brian, on the fact that every industry, every business has its busy times of the year. Would you accept that?
Yeah, it's Christmas. My missus works in retail and she hates working Christmas. But
but it is what it is.
Yeah, right. We're being there's dividing and conquering us here. My point is, we have a health crisis, we have a housing crisis, we have an infrastructure crisis because the place is falling apart and not enough investment. That's why they brought out rebuilding Ireland. Why do the politicians get 3 months off in the summer? And they get paid more than any teacher and any blazing nurse.
Okay, and that is a conversation that we should have.
Leo Varadkar's like, all these people taking this time off at Christmas. So do they. They take a month off at Christmas. Nothing gets done. Nothing gets passed. And they still get their money. And then they're like, oh, the teachers and the doctors and all want more money.
Okay, again, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. And I do think that's a conversation that we need to have. But, like it or not, Brian, our politicians are not in the business of saving people's lives. Much not as they might think they are, but they're not. Where our hospitals are. And it just does seem a little bit bizarre that hospitals are effectively shut for 7 out of 12 days over the Christmas period. It just seems bizarre.
I can understand, but people are entitled to be with their families.
Absolutely. But I can argue with you, Brian, a barman, hang on, I can argue with you, a barman is entitled to, but unfortunately for him, he'll get Christmas Day off and he'll end up working nearly every other day.
I understand that, but we have loads of crises in the country, but yet the politicians still get more time off than anybody else. We get 28 days a year because we're normal Joe Soaps. These get nearly 4 months off, 5 months off out of the whole year. There's only 12 months in the year. They're only working for 7 months, and they got away with extraordinary pensions, extraordinary wages. How about you don't get a pay rise until the things are fixed? You're saying it's not life or death. Here's a man dead in the street the other day because he's no roof over his head. Whose fault is that? It's the state's fault for not supplying housing. It should be written into there should be a referendum for housing to be a constitutional right in this country, and health to be a constitutional. It came out the other day. We have a 2-tier health system in North, the haves and the have-nots, and then there's people in between. Then nothing. People are walking their arse off and paying taxes, but over the bracket for the medical card, but can't make enough for health insurance. Why don't we just do universal health care? Tax everybody. The general taxation, fund the whole health service. You walk in, here's your PPS number, and here it is. And then get all the doctors and nurses a new contract to say, you're working Christmas. Like, I work in a job where none of the lads can take holidays in November, December because it's so busy. So it should be the same for them. But the politicians need to stop pointing at teachers and pointing at doctors when they get just as much time. They get even more time off with more benefits and claim back expenses, and yet everybody's like, oh, this nurse, blah blah blah, this doctor. It's the politicians. They're the ones who cut the funding. Take the 14 billion off Apple and put that into the health sector and put that into the housing sector, and I can guarantee you things will start going around.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Brian. I work, says this message, in the health service, not a doctor or midwife. I think it's ridiculous that medical staff can't take time off over Christmas. There are less or no clinics running over Christmas, so it's only really emergencies that need to be dealt with. So the staff who usually work in outpatient clinics can divide time off with emergency room or ward staff. Some staff from the other countries have worked hard all year to return home for Christmas, says that message from somebody who works in the health service. Another message says he's right in what he is saying, but there is just not enough nurses or health carers out there. And yeah, that may be the case as well. Emily, you are a nurse.
Hi, Jeremy. Hi, how are you, Chris?
Good. Adrian. Emily, as a nurse, what is your reaction to what the Taoiseach said?
Absolutely infuriated. There is no annual leave, and there has not been for years and years and years over Christmas period. There is not the staffing to allow for annual leave. Resources are there. There is a full staff quota insofar as everyone works their rostered 2-3 days over the Christmas. You cannot do any more unless they're insisting on doing mandatory overtime. Like, it's ridiculous what he's coming out with.
Okay, let me read a message that's just come into me this second, and it says, Varadkar is 100% fair in his comments. I worked in retail for 7 years, and I was expected to be available for 2 weeks in June for summer sale, and for the whole month of December and January for the post and after Christmas period. Every industry has its busy period.
That's fine, but if you are contracted to a 37 or a 39-hour week, you can only do, as nurses do, 12-hour shifts. That's 2 to 3 days or 3 days a week. You can't, I mean, if it's 30% of the services now being covered by agency staff, and those agency choose and are rightly allowed to take annual leave over the Christmas or to take themselves off call, then there is a deficit. There's going to be a deficit. We are down 30% staff. I know he's saying we got 1,500 new nurses last year. That is not the case, because at the moment people are leaving hand over fist.
Is the problem not exacerbated, as the Taoiseach said, the fact that effectively hospitals are shut down for 7 out of 12 days between December 22nd and January 3rd?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. What, they're not effectively closed down?
No, they're not. You still have all your A&Es are open. You still have all your wards open. You still have a 24-hour X-ray service and emergency service.
But it is skeleton staff. Let's be honest, Emily.
It's not skeleton staff. It's skeleton staff for Christmas Day only. That is it. Christmas Day only is the only one where you may have reduced hours, and after that you're back to normal hours. The problem is there is no beds. That is the problem. And he's diverting the attention onto nurses and saying that it's nurses and doctors taking annual leave. It's basically trying to cover up their inadequacies by not providing beds.
What will you be working over Christmas?
I'm working Christmas. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Stephen's Day, I'm working.
And then are you off?
I'm off for a few days because that is my 3 days covered.
Right. And did you choose to work those days, or were you rostered for those 3 days?
They were my rostered days.
And how do you feel about working those days?
Oh, look, I've got kids. Nobody wants to work Christmas. Nobody wants to, but like you do it because you're contracted to do it. They're your hours. Nobody wants to work Christmas, but at the end of the day, that's it. Service needs, patients need to be looked after.
So, what you're saying to me is what the Taoiseach said is rubbish.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm so angry over
that there is no decrease in the service provided by our hospitals over those days of Christmas.
No, there's no decrease in service over those days.
How is it then that hospitals feel like ghost towns? Because I've been in hospitals over Christmas time.
They feel like ghost towns.
Yeah.
You're still covered by your normal staff quotas. There's still going to be consultants on call. There's still going to be doctors on call. You still have your, quota of nurses. You still have it.
So there's no difference?
No. Not as far as I'm aware, there is no difference.
Do me a favour, Emily. Stay on the line there for 1 second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme. 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Jeremy is here with messages coming in on text, on WhatsApp, and on social media.
Leo Varadkar, what an absolute moron. Well, no, I'm afraid your text is moronic. The man doesn't know anything about the health service. Will you please explain to, what's that fella's name, to Brian, what Leo Varadkar was?
He's actually a doctor, but, well, according to Emily, he knows nothing about the health service either, because she believes that the hospitals are fully staffed and everything's as normal over Christmas. So the Taoiseach's talking rubbish, according to her.
Okay, another text message from Phyllis, and she says it's absolutely ridiculous. Hospitals are crazy at Christmas time. Do these health service workers not realise that it's the depths of winter and people are more sick than they are during the summer? Is that fair to say? Would Christmas Day be a busy... actually, if Emily's still there, is Christmas Day, Emily, people want to know, Christmas Day as a day, standalone day, is it a busy day for A&E?
Christmas Day can be bedlam.
And what sort of cases are you dealing with?
Well, along with your normal routine admissions, say elderly, sick patients, you also could have your normal emergencies. It's also quite a depressing time of the year, so you would have patients that find it harder to cope around that season. It's an extremely busy time. It's an extremely busy day.
Okay, another couple of messages. Thanks for that, Emily. Another couple of messages, Adrian. Here's a text message here, and it says, the health service workers need to cop on and realise that this has been happening for years in retail and stop getting too shouty about it. Are they getting shouty about it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think people are very vexed on this one.
Well, Emily,
so people are likely to get shouty about it.
Emily, when you first heard Leo's comments, were you incandescent with rage? Were you furious? Were you shouty?
Absolutely, because I just think he's so... yes, he has come from a medical background, but is he so far removed that, You know, there is a massive recruitment crisis in this country, massive recruitment crisis, and any inadequacies that come in the system lie at their feet. You know, they need to recruit nurses, and they're not going to recruit nurses in this country without addressing a pay issue.
Okay, a couple more texts, Adrian. This text says, you can't win. People complain about the health service and the hospital trolley crisis. Then our leader steps out and says, we need more health workers over Christmas, and people go mad. It's a lose-lose situation, is it not? Also, I work in a bar, says Adam is his name. I work in a bar, and I will have one day off this year. That's the way it's always been. If we ask for more time off over Christmas, we're simply told no. I'm the same. I have one day off over Christmas. I'm off Christmas Day because, as you know, I DJ. Why are you looking at me like
that's by choice?
Well,
you don't have to.
No, every job is by choice. Nobody has to work.
No, hang on. Your job, you are off for the whole of Christmas.
Oh, on the radio, yes, but yes. I also DJ.
But that's by choice. You don't have to do it.
Well, I do to make ends meet, Adrian. Everybody has to. To suggest that you don't have to work is ridiculous.
No, but that's extra work. It's not your main job. So don't be comparing that.
But it's worked on it. Anyway, all I'm saying is I've one day off over Christmas. And
that's by choice. You don't have to DJ all over Christmas. Okay? You could choose not to.
They don't have no bread on the table come January.
You've a lovely job in here, thanks very much.
Really?
That's greed.
You think?
Greed it is.
Oh, that's what it is, yeah.
Quick break, we're back in a second.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
With Des Kelly Interiors. New wood flooring fitted in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.
A lot of reaction to what we're talking about, and that is about hospitals essentially being closed, although some healthcare staff argue that is not the case. Let me read out some of your messages. As a Brit working over here, I was taken into St. Luke's Hospital in Kilkenny the other week. I have to say, it was infinitely better than the UK. It was clean, efficient, and so friendly. Maybe I was lucky, but would rate it over any UK NHS hospital, says Tom. That's nice to hear, Tom, because we don't get enough compliments. But I think you were probably lucky. If you'd have been in the Mater Hospital where, no, it wasn't for me, thank God, but if you'd have been in the A&E in the Mater Hospital in Dublin the other day, you would probably be viewing it very, very differently, I have to say. Alan, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Alan?
I'm good, Adrian. How are you?
Good. What did you want to say on this, Alan?
No, just to the comment you made there that Leo Varadkar knows what he's talking about because he's a doctor. Now, don't forget Leo Varadkar was health minister when he was a doctor.
That's right.
And he didn't do a very good job.
Okay.
So just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you can run the health service.
Mind you, I'd argue no health minister has done a good job for the last 10 or 15 years, but he just happens to have been one of them.
Yeah, no, he's one of them. But I was following up on that comment that you made, that just because someone is a doctor doesn't mean they're the right person for the job.
No, okay.
Michael O'Leary's not a pilot, but he was good running Ryanair.
Okay, but what's your opinion on what the Taoiseach had to say?
Fully don't agree with what he said. So our doctors and nurses work their asses off every year. Every year we have the exact same problems in the health service, and it's due to understaffing. Every year our health service runs over in budget because we're paying agencies. Rather than paying actual staff, we're paying agencies the whole time. So we spent a bit more money on our health service, paid the staff correctly, we wouldn't have staff leaving the country. We would have a proper functioning health service. So what Leo does the whole time is deflect by blaming everyone for everything, when actually, without addressing... And
is that what you think this is? This is deflecting attention away from the problem? Or does he not have a fundamental point that at a time of peak demand during the winter season, 7 out of 12 days... hospitals, despite what Emily said, are going to be operating like on a skeleton staff?
Okay, so if you had to go in and have your tonsils out, let's say on the 22nd of December, would you go in and have them out? Coming to Christmas, would you go in and have them? No, you wouldn't.
Well, I would if I was in pain and I had to get rid of them.
If you were in pain, I had to get rid of them, but if it wasn't urgent. And so a lot of those surgeries are put off till after Christmas, and it's not just the health service. It's a lot of patients don't want to be in a hospital.
Well, they don't have the option either.
But for some people, if it's not an emergency operation, they don't seem to want to do it. So no one wants to be bedbound for Christmas.
Okay, so you're saying that the reason that staff are able to take time off over Christmas is because people don't want to be going to hospitals for elective surgeries over the Christmas period?
Yes, I think that's been proven, that elective surgeries are cancelled the whole time before Christmas, and that's been happening for years. But again, we need to get back to the fundamental issue is if we pay our doctors and nurses correctly, puts them on proper structures like retail. So people in retail work a 5 over 7 day week. That's what they work. Our hospitals probably do that already, but we need to put it on a proper footing, pay people correctly, and we would have a better functional health service.
All right, let me bring in one or two very quick calls. Billy, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Billy?
Yeah, I agree with that, man. That's very sensible. No, I totally disagree with what Radical said. You've got to ask yourself, like, the last 10, 15 years, the health service has been over budget. Like, they keep on making the same mistakes all the time. You know what I mean? So, like, something's got to be changed. And the nurses are working their ass off all year round, and they don't get paid enough. And there's other sections, like, you take education now, over the last few years, it has improved. Just class sizes have went down. But unfortunately, the one people that are suffering is the workers as usual. The teachers are being screwed. New entrants are coming in, and they're not getting the same as the other people that are on the stiffing rate. But in general, it has improved. But the health seems to be all the time. It's getting worse every year instead of even stagnating.
But do you not see the situation, Billy, that we have a situation where 7 out of 12 days during one of the busiest times of the year for health, for people's general health, people are off?
Yeah, well, I think, as I said, what's it called, for Radicals keeping his nose out, if anybody suggests this, it should be coming from Harris, because he's the Minister for Health. Your man's the Taoiseach, so that's not his regime. That's why he has people working under him. And as someone said yesterday, Adrian, he should lead from the front, and he should come in. As someone said earlier on, nothing gets passed. There's an abortion bill waiting on the table to be passed. There's women going over to England as I speak now on the phone, and shouldn't be going over because the abortion bill was voted on a couple of months ago, and
it's still sorry, just on that, it takes time to pass legislation through the Dáil.
Okay.
And the Minister for Health did promise it would be in place by the start of next year. So
when did
we're
he
not
say?
there yet.
When?
He said that months ago.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but next year, why doesn't he try and do a little bit extra work over the Christmas and just take Christmas Day off like everybody else, come back Stephen's Day and get stuck into it again, and maybe we might have it passed in this middle of January instead of February. You know, why doesn't he do that? As the caller said, just he'd lead by the front. He has a cheek to say what he has. I'm telling you, he has a cheek. I wouldn't actually give him any more airtime it was 98 of him. He's a joke.
Right.
That's, you know.
Thanks, Eddie.
Joke.
Thank you. Right, okay, thank you. Let me read a few more of your messages before I wrap this up. My daughter spent 7 hours in the Eye and Ear Hospital yesterday. Only one doctor working. It's an absolute disgrace. Adrian, points are being raised and contradicted here. Agency workers are entitled to their time off and therefore they take it. If they employ direct workers, then it would be problem solved, says that message. Ironically, plenty of members of the voluntary ambulance services would be delighted to get involved in emergency and general hospital work, and they would work for free and just for the experience. If the Minister for Health wanted cost-effective solutions, they'd talk to the likes of the Order of Malta or St. John's Ambulance and the Irish Red Cross. EMTs would be able to do many of the basic tasks of a nurse. For example, they could be assistants for free. They don't want real answers. They want public eye answers, says that message. And one more. That Varadkar fella is the biggest to ever run this country. He's an absolute God, somebody doesn't like Leo. In terms of what he takes from this country, does an awful job and then blames everything on doctors and teachers. Like one of your callers said, divide and conquer, make everyone annoyed at others to take the attention off the ministers and their pay increases and lack of action, says that message. All right, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. Live from Dublin City Centre, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and that man there is Jeremy. Jeremy, you're here with me for a reason.
Women are better than men, Adrian.
Oh. Okay.
That's the show over. We've stated a fact. Let's go home.
Why are women better than men?
Yeah, it's an article that we came across today in Cosmopolitan. It's quite a sexist article, actually, when you think about it. But it's in Cosmopolitan magazine. And it's the things that women do better than men. And it's listing a load of things that it claims women can do better than men. Can you imagine if that was an article about things that men do better than women? Imagine the uproar.
There would be uproar.
There would be uproar. But I have to say, I'm finding it very difficult to argue with any of the things they talk about here. And I'm going to name a few of the things that women do better than men, according to this survey. Okay, and see if you agree with it or not, Adrian. Okay.
Okay.
Women are better at organising things like holidays and days out.
Not in my house.
No, not in my house either.
No, I do all the holiday organising.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Not all
most
the time.
of the time.
Most of the time you book holidays. Yeah. And why? Is that because your wife doesn't like booking them, or is she able to book them, or?
Well, like if we organise visas and stuff like that.
No, that's my job.
Yeah, I do all of that.
We went to a country there 2 weeks ago that we needed a lot of visas for, and I said to my wife, "You organise that. You're better at organising things."
Yeah, so that'd be me as well. Now I have to say. Okay, so sorry, it says women are better at organising holidays.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And events, holidays and events. Now, I'd agree with that. My wife organised my wedding. I couldn't. Could you have organised your wedding?
No.
Not in a. I wouldn't know where to start. Where do you get a priest? Where do you find a church? How do you do that? Also, what it says is women are better at being friends to their friends. They're better at listening to their friends. I think that's true. I think women.
It might be, yeah.
I think women make better friends than men do, don't they? Would you listen to me if I had problems?
No, I couldn't care less. No.
What would you say to if I said, Adrian, I'm feeling a bit down at the moment. I have something going on in my life that I need to talk to you about. Can you?
Well, I would then.
Well, no.
Because you look like you're about to cry.
No, okay. There's something going on in my life at the moment, Adrian. I want to meet. Will you meet me for coffee this evening?
I have to catch the bus. No, I take the point. We want you to text or WhatsApp us right now on 0877 98 98 98. Things that women do better than men.
Now, this lists 15 things, but I think we'll probably find more than 15.
Okay, and we'll share with you what is on that list as soon as you come on air. What we want you to do is text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98 and help us discover what is on this list. Things that women can do better than men. And according to this list, there are 15 different things that women can do better than men. Call us right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Let's get this one out of the way first, because I'm getting loads of texts about this one. Are they better moans than men?
That's not on the list.
It's not on the list. It's not.
No. Why would you admit to being a good moan? No,
that is a statement of fact.
No, it's not. I actually moan more than my wife does.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Sure, I moan on the radio more. So.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Okay, so we get moans out of the way. That's not on the list.
No,
text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Things that women can do better than men. Quick break. We're back in a moment.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
With Des Kelly Interiors. Delivering your new mattress in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.
So we were reading a list of 15 long list of things that women can do better than men.
I think.
And there are quite a lot. 15 different things.
I think there would have been more on the list, only they ran out of paper in the magazine. They couldn't write any more down.
Mark!
Hello.
Before the break, I said, let's get this out of the way. You believe women are better than men at what?
At complaining.
Yeah,
It's always complaining, yeah. Just, you're only in the door after work and you're hearing something. You're getting called in work, you're hearing something. It's always usually something.
You see, I have to take the women's side here, Mark. And what my wife says to me was, we wouldn't complain if you did everything right.
Yeah. I know that.
No, but what was the last thing she complained about to you?
To do shopping.
So why didn't you do the shopping?
I forgot one thing. I got one thing wrong.
No, but you're moaning about her complaining, and my boss complains at me if I don't do my job right. Yeah, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Regularly, actually.
Yeah, and rightly so.
And what I'm saying is, Mark, your wife gave you a job to do the shopping. You went to do the shopping, and you forgot half the messages, so she complained. So
I got one thing mixed up, but as I said when I went home, if you wanted the correct thing, you should have just wrote it down. I'd never be mistaken then, that way.
No, but I despise people that walk around shopping centres with lists in their hands. I hate those people.
Well, on your phone even.
No.
You can't remember everything.
No, I just see people in my local Duns and they're walking around, they have like 6 A4 pages and they're like oranges. You don't need a list to go shopping. You know what you need.
Well, if you're getting a lot of stuff, you don't.
Okay, anyway, the argument is women wouldn't complain if men did what they were told.
Yep, that's pretty much
it. That's pretty. So you have.
I would say that as well about men as well. Yeah, we complain an awful lot more about the man flu, but sure.
We do. We never stop. All you need is a little sniffle out of a man, and he's whinging and moaning and giving out and complaining.
Why are you looking at me when you said that?
Because you're the worst of the lot. Maria, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Maria.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Maria, what do you believe women are better than men at doing?
Minding the kids.
Minding the kids. Ooh. Now, I would happen to agree with you. But I know Jeremy, as one of these, modern dads, would probably, no, I can do just as good a job. You probably think that, do you?
In that voice as well, I think that, yeah. Maria, I have to take issue with you. And you make a valid point, because any time my wife leaves me alone with my son, she'll always say to me, now make sure you look after him. Why do they need to say that to you? She does, honestly, Maria. The other day, she had to go around to the chemist and she left my son alone with me, who's 4, by the way. He can basically run his own life. Like, he can do whatever he needs. And she said to me as she was going out the door, now, Jeremy, look after him while I'm gone.
But the point being that she does a better job.
Yeah, I only let him play with knives when she was gone. That's all.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, not everyone's going to agree, but a lot of people do agree that women have this, I don't know what it is, that makes them better at minding kids.
What is it?
I don't know. Attention to detail or whatever.
So do you think, on a serious note, Marie, do you think a child is safer with its mother than its father when it comes to, like, falling off a wall or running out in front of a car or whatever?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, guys.
Here's the thing, I kind of agree with her.
Don't agree with her. Why would you do that? Why would you agree with it?
I think women care a bit more than men do.
I don't know if it's about care.
Sure, to be grand.
I don't know if it's they care a bit more, but they pay attention a bit more, or men are just a bit too chilled.
I got given out to last night. See if you think this is valid, Maria. My son is completely toilet trained, okay?
Yeah.
But he's not completely able to wipe his own arse just yet, okay? He wipes it, but he doesn't wipe it very well. So he called me into the toilet last night and I went in. He said, Daddy, will you wipe my bum? And I wiped his bum, okay? And I thought I did a good job on wiping his bum. And as he was going to bed, his mother had him down on the sofa and she was putting his onesie on for bed. And she noticed one single little dangleberry, those dangleberries on his bum. The smallest bit of poop that you need a microscope. Jeremy, do you not know how to wipe a child's arse? Do you not know how to wipe? And it ended up in a huge row because you're sending him to bed with a dirty bum. He's going to end up with a rash and all that. So actually, maybe you are right. Maybe we don't.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know how to care for them. Thanks, Maria. Keep your texts or WhatsApps coming in to 0877 90. By the way, is that on the list? 0877 98 98 98.
What, the phone number?
No, that they're better able to look after children.
No, that's a horrible thing to say.
Oh.
You know what is on the list, though? When I'm going to find out from the next woman if this is true. Women are better at getting out of speeding tickets from policemen.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
I think that's a myth. I don't think that actually happens.
It does happen, and I've known it to happen. I've known women who can turn on the waterworks when they get pulled in, and a guard is just, if it's a male guard primarily, not going to let her away with it.
Well, let's find out. Is there one woman listening? I think this is one of these urban myths. Is there one woman listening who has ever got out of a ticket from a guard because you were a woman? So what happens?
Casey, straight away in my ear.
Every
time she says.
I certainly don't believe that for Casey.
Yeah. She's saying it in my ear here that she gets away with it every time.
Okay, any other woman bar Casey who's probably
I know my missus got pulled in for speeding last year. She won't appreciate me telling this story, but she's penalty points and I don't. Anyway, she got pulled in last year and he didn't let her away with it. In fact, he gave out to her for rallying my car. That's what he said to her.
She's not. Why are you telling these stories on the radio? Rallying. She's doing handbrakes.
Does your husband realise you're rallying in his car?
And she didn't get away with it?
No, she didn't. No.
So it's not true.
Well, she didn't. But our Casey says she gets away with it every time. Lauren, firstly, do women get away with speeding fines easier than men?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, what have you got off?
Years ago, I was on my phone when I was driving, and I got pulled in, and the
He's after been following me for about 10 miles, flashing his lights, and I was on my phone. So I just put on the waterworks and I just said, I'm after getting terrible news from the hospital now.
You did not.
I was trying to ring my mum, and he said, look, go on, just don't be on your phone again.
And how good, I mean, you're laughing with us now, Lauren, yeah?
Yeah, that was a long time ago, yeah.
But if I were to ask you right now to turn on the waterworks, could you do it straight away?
No, not all the time, no. Not all the time. Well, if I thought I was going to get penalty points, yeah, I could, yeah.
So you were able to cry your eyes out?
Yeah, if I thought I was going to get a fine, yeah, of course. Couldn't anyone?
I didn't believe that was true.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't get away with it with a Bangarda, though?
No, that's the point.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah. No, not a chance would you get away with it with a Bangarda.
No.
But anyway, you believe women are better than men at?
Multitasking.
What did you say there? I'm typing away. I can't hear what you said. What did you say?
Women are better than men.
Hang on, let me just finish this email and I'll get back to you.
Multitasking. Doing two things at the same time.
Two or three or four. we do it all.
Now, when it comes to cooking, I'm always amazed at women's ability to...
Your wife must be listening to the show, by the way, because you're being so pro-women today, it's actually unbelievable.
My wife can cook about 10 things at the same time, yeah?
Yes.
I can cook beans and that's it. And even at that, I burn the toast while I'm making the beans. I don't know how you can keep all those different things on the go cooking at the same time.
Yeah, you learn.
Like when your potatoes are coming to the boil and your carrots are also coming to the boil. What do you do?
How do you make sure they all come to the boil around the same time? And
ask Lauren, she's a woman. Lauren, how do you make carrots and potatoes come to the boil? I presume you put them all in one pot. Is that how you do it?
Well, obviously not now, Jeremy. No, you don't.
Oh, do you not do that?
No, obviously not. Potatoes in with carrots.
Yeah, why not? Oh, that's a coddle, isn't it?
It's horrible. Anyway, so multitasking. Women are definitely better than men at multitasking. That has to be on the list.
No, it's actually not. Oh, sorry, I was talking to Lauren, so I wasn't looking at the list as well. Yeah, it is actually on the list, Lauren, it is.
It is. Multitasking is on the list, Lauren, so...
Lauren, would you meet me for coffee later on? I have a problem in my life I want to talk about.
Absolutely, Jeremy, no problem.
That's the difference between her and you, Adrian. You were like to have to catch a bus. You'd be prepared to give me an hour of your time to have a heartfelt
45
conversation.
45 minutes.
Oh, you'll only give me 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a great friend, you are. Thanks.
Good luck.
See you.
What is on this list? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What do you think is on this list of things that women can do better than men? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Because apparently there are 15 different things that are on this list that women can do better than men.
Can I read out a message for you, Adrian?
Yes, please do. Yes.
It's quite angry. This is from a mate of mine who is a single father.
Okay, yeah, very good.
And he says, will you tell your sidekick... No, sorry, that person, I'm the sidekick. Adrian's not the sidekick. Will you tell your sidekick that fathers are just as better at bringing up children as mothers? My child is safe with me. How dare Adrian Kennedy say that? Would you like to comment?
Yeah, because he's on his own, so he's...
Although he shouldn't be texting when he's minding his child.
No, exactly. That's the point.
You're actually right, Adrian.
There you go.
Shame on you, Brian. Shame on you.
So and because men can't multitask, he was sending a text, his child is probably climbing into the oven.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Yes. Now, Barry, you've a few things on the list that women can do better than men.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
How you doing?
Good, thanks, Barry.
No, that's bad. I think one was already cleared up there. It was moaning.
Okay, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
Not all women moan.
No.
Sorry, that's what it says on my sheet of paper here that I was to read out as a disclaimer. Not all women moan, so there you go.
Okay, I'm sure it's probably... But anyway.
Okay, what else is on this list?
Cooking.
Cooking?
Well, no, Barry, because most of the most famous chefs in the world, who's your man that curses all the time? With the Botox in the face?
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, he's a man.
There's the other fella. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, right. I'm just talking from personal experience anyway.
Oh, you're basically coming on the air to lick the arse of your partner and say that she's a great cook because you want her to cook for you tonight. Is that the issue?
Yeah, steak night tonight, so, yeah.
Oh, my God, you've no self-respect, Barry.
I know.
And have you ever tried to cook? Have you ever tried to cook yourself?
I know. I can cook. Obviously, I can cook a steak, but like she can just cook it better. But anyway,
I hate people that say that I can cook a steak.
Yeah, you just fry a steak. That's it.
No, you can't go wrong.
It's not rocket science to it.
No. Medium rare, like, you know. So it's not just putting it on and burn the shit out of it. Like
that's what you do, is it?
No, medium rare. Medium rare is me, like, you know.
But you would, if you were doing it yourself, you wouldn't be able to get it right, would you not?
Oh no, I would, but she just, you know, she can do it better, like, you know.
Okay, is cooking on the list? No, it's
Barry,
not.
But when did you realise, Barry, that your wife had your testicles, by the way, in a little case, and she owns them?
Many years ago.
It's actually sad to hear a man that's so what's the word I'm using? Downtrodden by his missus. He's literally terrified.
Anyway, so basically, Barry, you're saying they can do everything better than men. Pretty much.
Cooking, cleaning, yeah, they can do everything better, yeah.
Okay, well, it's just as well you're not married to Joe's missus, because Joe, your missus is the exact opposite.
Totally. She would burn water.
She'd burn water?
Yeah, she would burn anything she does in the kitchen is a disaster. She can't even buy the pot of potato, it's got lower.
Right, okay.
And she knows this, and the kids tell her as well. It's a no-no. I do the dinners every day, and if there's a day where she gets home from work before me, she'll text me and say, we're going to have a chipper tonight.
So you basically have a chipper every night then, is it?
No, I'm always in first. I'm home from work first, so the deal is I cook. First one in does the cooking, because I've got 4 kids. So I do the cooking 99.9% of the time. Christmas, Sundays, the whole lot. But she can clean. She can do a bit of cleaning.
Jeez, that's nice of you.
She couldn't boil an egg, and we got her one of them egg timers, you know, the one that makes the alarm?
Yeah.
And she just couldn't get the hang of it.
Oh, she can't even get her head around an egg timer?
No, she couldn't. The thing ended up out in the back garden.
Oh, right, okay. She's
I'm
a
not
bit
messing with you.
Okay, so she's not better. She's not better than you at anything, is she not?
Oh no, she can clean.
But that's it.
Now, I'd sort out the holidays, I'd sort out all of that kind of stuff as well. She does the cleaning, and she goes out and works. That's about it.
That's about it. All right. Well, Kevin, you reckon that women are better drivers?
Absolutely.
Ooh. That's going to go down popular.
Well, Adrian just announced a minute ago that his wife was rallying his car and doing handbrakers.
Yeah, but I did have a car crash last week.
Yeah, but it wasn't your fault.
I'm coming down the
I still had the car crash
at the moment.
Right.
I'm driving down the N3, and I can just say the amount of absolute gobshite on the road is absolutely unbelievable.
And are they all men?
All men.
Oh.
Drivers, taxi drivers, second, all sorts.
Just driving badly, weaving in and out of traffic, or what?
Just can't drive. You overtake them, they overtake you. They're speeding, and then they slow down because they realise they're speeding. Then you have to overtake them. Just open.
Right, okay, so women are better drivers than men. What else is on the list?
Following instructions in work. No, I don't agree with that at all. It says here, when a woman is told to do something by her boss, she will do it like she is told to do it, whereas a man will do it completely the opposite way.
Fair enough.
It's not fair enough.
What else is on the list?
Sustaining relationships. Most relationships break up because of the man and not because of the woman. Women are better at holding relationships together. Yeah. And this is something we're going to talk about later on in the week. Managing finances. Men should give all their finance details and to women, because women are much better at budgeting and making sure that ends meet.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. That's it from us for today. Thank you for joining us. We're back with you at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Barry Dunn is on the way in just a moment. In the next hour, he's got some great music lined up, like these.
Of your 98 FM's Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. New carpets fitted in time for Christmas. DesKelly.ie.
98 FM.